Right, so it is day 75 of my New Year's tree planting thing, so let's get on with it. Right, so it's finally rained again, so I thought it would be a good opportunity to quickly put in a fruit tree while we have some moist conditions around, and a mango tree is probably one of the most tolerant fruit trees there is, and so although we have a lot of mangoes, I think it's a good opportunity to get another one in the soil. So this is actually one of the 4 varieties that have been here since before I was born, and I'll just quickly cover those because they're quite common varieties around Lusaka, if not around Zambia. So the 4 varieties we have are the yellow mango, which is the one I planted first, which is relatively small, quite stringy, quite tartly sweet, strongly flavoured, little dessert mango, as I would say, which is very good for drying and very good for general eating, provided you don't mind flossing your teeth while you eat. Then the other one we have a lot of is what is often just called a green mango here, but it is something we used to call a kidney mango, but I don't believe it's true kidney mango. So it is a dessert mango, but it can also be used as a cooking mango. It stays green for a relatively long time, and so that can be used in pickles, in chutneys, and as a vegetable. It does ripen in the flesh while the skin is still green, but the skin will go yellow. And it's a relatively sweet with slight tartness, not overly stringy, quite large mango. It's a lot of flesh per mango. Slightly kidney-shaped, chunky little mango, really. Then we have the pink mango, which I believe is one of the ivory cultivars, which is a long, thin, very perfumey to my taste mango, which is not my favourite, but I can see why people do favour it as a dessert one, because it is, again, very short of strings, very easy to tell when it's ripe, and yeah, quite a pleasant mango in terms of not having to pick bits out of your teeth afterwards. Now this is my least favourite of the 4 ones. This is what I've been calling the parrot's beak. I don't actually know if that's the proper cultivar name, but it's what I've called it for years, which is a long, thin green mango with a hooked tip, which doesn't really ripen. So it spends a long time on the tree. It actually is one of the first ones to start being full size on our trees here, and effectively until pretty much the day before it drops off the tree, it will still be green. It will often start to rot without actually ripening, which makes it really good if you want it for pickling and for cooking. It's not remotely a dessert mango. It does seem to be a particularly large mango tree, so whereas the yellow and the pink mangoes tend to settle out relatively small, this settles out somewhat larger than the green mango in this environment. And again, it is quite useful for pickling, and I do like pickling mango. So it's probably a good idea to plant one of its offspring. This seed had actually rooted as an epiphyte in the fork of the parent tree, so I thought I couldn't just let a seed that had gone to that much effort to live go. And mangoes are not entirely true to cultivar, but because this tends to flower before other cultivars, I suspect it will have self-pollinated, so we should have at least a very similar fruit from this seed to the original. I'm putting that in with Dracaena fragrans and 2 aloe arborescens and some Kalanchoe fetchinkoi just to keep it sheltered. You'll notice I'm leaving the leaves on the Dracaena because with the way the weather's been lately, I do think it's probably going to need the shelter more than I need to conserve moisture for the Dracaena. So this Dracaena will probably flop, but it is in a relatively shady environment, so it might not be bothered at all. And then because, although we have had some rain, it's only really been enough to wet the surface, I am going to give it a little bit of water just to get it settled in. So yeah, so that should be everything for today. Thank you very much for watching, and please tune in again tomorrow when I will be planting something else, hopefully.